Today we're going to have a look at a mechanical keyboard from Kogan. This keyboard is only available in Australia and New Zealand as far as I'm aware, although it's probably only worth it on the Australian website as the price difference is pretty big. Looking at the box, we can see that it's very plain, stating that it's a backlit 10 keyless mechanical keyboard and that it uses Cherry MX brown switches. Unfortunately, the box is not in the best shape it could be, since when it's delivered it's only wrapped in a thin plastic and it doesn't come with any bubble wrap or protective covering. Having a look at the contents inside, we have the keyboard itself, a gold-plated mini USB to USB cable, and a plastic keycap puller. Taking the keyboard out of the plastic, we are also given some warranty information and a disc with all the drivers. The keyboard, just like the packaging, is really simple and nice looking, having an all black shell and black keycaps. The obvious thing sticking out is the clear Kogan logo, which may be a turn off for some people. As stated on the box, the keyboard uses genuine Cherry MX brown switches, which is a very impressive feature for a keyboard of this price. Generally, keyboards on a budget that especially have backlighting will more likely use the cheaper Chinese clone, which are the KO switches. The Cherry MX brown switch, as we know, is a tactile switch, meaning it has a bump for when it actuates. However, it doesn't make the audible click like the Cherry MX blues do. Above the stem, we can also see the LEDs. Turning the keyboard over, we see 5 feet, 3 of which are on the bottom, and 2 which are the flip-up feet for an increased elevation. There is also an inbuilt cable management system, which is also welcome for a budget mechanical keyboard. It gives you the 3 options, which exits on the middle, the right and the left. Although there is one problem with this system. As seen, the cable has a piece of plastic stuck onto the cable, and this piece of plastic is then inserted into the keyboard itself, which is a really good idea to have the cable more secure. This works perfectly for the side channels, however it doesn't work at all for the middle channel, as the distance is shorter. So if you wanted to use the middle channel for the cable, you will have to have the plastic piece showing on the outside as well. Plugging in the keyboard, we can see the illumination of the LEDs. The primary color of the LEDs is blue, which is still seen in bright daylight, as you can see. And then there are orange LEDs on the arrow keys and the WASD keys. These colors are permanent, so they can't be changed, but I really don't mind the color combinations as they are complementary colors. This means that they're on the opposite side of the color wheel, so they go quite nicely together. We can also see that the WASD keys have directional legends on them, and the directional keys also have the WASD on them as well. The function keys at the top of the keyboard all have their secondary functions via the function key at the bottom. F1 to F4 are the speed setting keys and the RPS keys. F5 to F12 are all easy to access media controls. Next to that is the gaming function key, and this disables the Windows key. Then there is the scroll lock with the secondary function of controlling the brightness levels. And finally, underneath that are the 6 macro keys, being M1 to M6. The keyboard can be further tuned via the software that comes on the disc. Here we see some generic software and the keyboard itself. There are the 3 main tabs: Main Control, Macro Setting, and Advanced Setting. In the Main Control tab, we can program every switch individually to represent another key, but they cannot hold macros. In the Macro Setting tab, we can assign macros to the M1 to M6 keys, which again is accessed via the function key on the keyboard. And in the Advanced Setting tab, we can play around with the polling rate and the response time. By default, it's set on 250Hz with an 8 millisecond key response time. You can also toggle the Windows key on and off, and also fine-tune the brightness level of the LEDs, which are in increments of 10%, with also the option of having the breathing mode, which just pulses. And finally, at the bottom you have your 5 profiles, which can hold different functions and macros to suit different games or tasks you might be into. Here's the typing test with the Cherry MX Browns on a wooden table. Since these use wire stabilizers from Coaster, they come with the infamous rattle on the longer keys, more notably on the spacebar. This is a really common problem and isn't specific to this keyboard. Perhaps the most interesting thing about this keyboard, at least in my opinion, is how it's put together. The top shell can easily be taken off, as it's held with a couple of tabs as per usual. But the top shell isn't connected by any screws, which is the usual construction on most mechanical keyboards. Taking off the shell, the keyboard looks very clean, almost as if it's supposed to look that way. That's because this is the base keyboard produced by the manufacturer. If we look back at the software, we can see the keyboard has no frame on it as well. This makes the keyboard with the metal plate being the exterior top piece, just like the Corsair keyboards. And it's very similar to the Ozone Strike Battle keyboard that I had a look at not too long ago. Being like this, it makes it more compact and really quite sleek looking. Kinda like a edge-to-edge mechanical keyboard. This then gives us some pretty cool options in my opinion. First, you can have the keyboard exactly like this, with the top shell off, giving you a really nice stealthy and minimalistic look. But when you feel like it, you can reattach the top exterior shell, which can be easily painted, to give it a really nice edgy look. And that is exactly what I'll be doing with my second keyboard. Overall, my impressions of this keyboard are very solid. I've only had this keyboard for a few days, so I can't really make any comments on how long the keyboard will last and its potential longevity. But I'm really impressed with how it feels and its heavy weight. The fact that it has backlighting and genuine Cherry MX Brown switches. And it's all tied up with a simple to use piece of software, which allows you to tune the keyboard exactly to your liking. And finally, the option of having a two-tone approach to the look of the keyboard with its removable shell. All this at the budget price is really impressive, and I'll be doing some modifications to these in the near future.